final local panelist is Dina Kahn, who is co-director of Chabad Youth, which is the largest outreach youth organisation in Australia, and also the Rebbitzin of Dominion. Welcome. Now, Rebbitzin Kahn, you're young, you work with young people. How do you explain to them the meaning of life after death and what the next world has in store for us?
Thank you so much, Tally. And yes, I do work with a lot of young people. But one thing that all people have in common, regardless of their age, is their soul. And one of the most fundamental beliefs in Judaism is that life does not begin at birth, nor does it end at death. And tonight I'm going to take you on a very short soul journey. So the Lubavitcher Rebbe would speak about the soul in connection with the first law of thermodynamics, that no energy is ever lost or destroyed, it merely takes on another form. And if this is true of physical energy, how much more so of a spiritual entity such as a soul, which is not limited by time or space. So the soul goes on a journey through different forms and spaces, but it is unchanged throughout. So if we follow the soul's journey, it begins up above, basking in godliness, until it's time for it to complete its mission and enter the world. And it's literally blown into a physical body, and it begins its mission in the world to do acts of goodness and kindness, to make it a dwelling place for God. Now the soul knows its task, but because it's in this physical world where godliness is hidden, where we have free choice, it's a constant challenge for the soul to remember the mission it was placed in this world to accomplish, and something that it must strive to do the soul's entire life. And then when the soul has completed its mission, it begins its ascent back to God. Now, this ascent is a slow process. If we can think of it in connection with a diver, if we have someone going scuba diving and he reaches great depths, when it's ready to resurface, it has to go through a decompression process because it would be too taxing on the body to go up too quickly. And that would be the same with a soul, that it's a slow process. And that's why when someone passes away, we have different milestones that the soul goes through. We have the 7 days of mourning, and then we have the shloshim, the 30 days. We move on to the 11 months when we finish mourning, and then we go to the 12 month, the yahrzeit, the anniversary, where the soul completes its process of returning to God. And even when the soul completes this process, the soul is still so connected with those it left behind. It's still able to look down on its loved ones and take pride in their accomplishments and their deeds. Now, a lot of people speak about heaven and hell, or if we want to call it Gan Eden and Gehenna, and they're very hard concepts to understand. And I once heard a beautiful idea that really resonated with me that puts into perspective what is heaven and hell. So when the soul ascends up to God, it has the opportunity to sit back and watch a movie of its life down below. And it's able to watch the highs, the lows, the challenges, the good times, the laughter, the difficult times. And while the soul is watching this, the soul remembers once again what its mission was, and it realizes what's really true and what's most important in this world. So watching one's life experiences could be for some like heaven or some for hell, depending on what one is watching of the screenplay of one's life. And I once heard a beautiful parable that really brought this message home, that there was once a man who heard about this faraway island where diamonds were lining the streets. So he takes this big journey to this island and he arrives there, and sure enough, there are diamonds everywhere. And he's so excited, and he begins gathering diamonds, preparing to bring them back home. And the townspeople look at him and they laugh at him and they say, "What are you doing? Why are you collecting diamonds? Diamonds are worthless here. For us, our commodity is chicken fat. That is what is precious to us." And time went by, and the man soon became influenced by the culture around him, and he threw the diamonds to the side and he began collecting chicken fat. And sure enough, he accumulated so much chicken fat until he was ready to return home. and he filled up a big ship with chicken fat, and he's excited to sail home and see his family and show them all the treasures that he's gathered. And he comes closer and closer to shore, and his wife is standing there, you know, with excitement on her face, and suddenly her face turns white. And she says to him, I don't understand. You went to get diamonds and you've come back with chicken fat. And I think that's the message, that in this world, we've come into this world to collect diamonds. And although sometimes we forget our mission and we forget what in this world to accomplish, but that's something we have to always do. We have to remember that we're here for what's really of value, for what's really of importance. And even if lots of things in the world want to sway us or want to tempt us or want us to forget our mission, we have to stay true to what we know is important. And we've got to do acts of goodness and kindness and make this world a dwelling place for God.
Thank you so much. I pray for us all to have long and healthy lives, but your message and the power of the soul is not only reassuring, but it's also really uplifting.